How do you conduct an effective Q&A session? Hi, I'm Joel Sweeney. I posted on this topic some time ago, and at that particular time, I focused on one aspect, and that was the importance of truly understanding the question, and it is important. So I kind of advised at that particular point that we should first and foremost allow the question to be asked in its entirety. Sometimes we're guilty of trying to respond to the question before the question is actually finished and fully asked, assuming that we understand, and we shouldn't do that. The second point that I made is that we should repeat the question to the audience so that everybody knows what the question is, and at the same time allows you to confirm with the person that posed the question that you indeed have it right. Well, I'd like to add another dimension to it as a result of some feedback that I got on one of my LinkedIn posts with this particular blog. And that is that we sometimes, when we ask for the question, when we get to the Q&A part of our presentation, we ask for a question and we get that awkward pause because the audience is not forthcoming with any. And the gentleman, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he advised that in those kinds of situations, what he does is that he actually has 2 to 3, 4 canned questions prepared in advance so that if he hits one of those awkward moments, instead of trying to prod the audience, which has not a whole lot of success anyway, we can actually pose a question, say, well, here's a question that's frequently asked of me, and go on with the question and then respond to it. And then that may actually spur one or more questions from the audience as a result of that, because now you've given them a chance to sort of relax and get some sense of what the questions might be. Another point to keep in mind is that we can actually let the audience know in advance of the Q&A session. Sometimes you can let them know at the front and then remind them as we get closer. But at the very least, I like to remind them about 10 or 15 minutes before I'm scheduled to complete my presentation that we are going to be doing a Q&A session. And I encourage them to jot down their questions while they're fresh in their mind so that when we get to that, we can actually deal with them immediately. And that has been fairly successful for me. So it allows for that opportunity for the audience to reflect upon what they would ask instead of just asking them in a kind of like a cold call format, so it's sort of without any warning, say, are there any questions? And of course, that just creates an awkward moment more often than not. So let them know in advance that you're going to be doing a Q&A. Have 2, 3, 4 canned questions so that if there's an awkward moment at the start or even an awkward moment as you get further in, you have something there and a way of dealing with that. So you have your canned questions available. That's your tip for this week. Now go out and make your voice heard.